Good morning, viewers. I give you a red carpet welcome to my channel. Today we'll discuss Animals, which is written by Walt Whitman. Let's jump into it. Introduction to the poet. Walt Whitman was an American poet, essayist, and journalist. So he had these qualities. He was a poet, essayist, and journalist. A humanist, he was a part of the transition between transcendentalism and realism. Means he incorporated both the forms in his works. Transcendentalism means beyond the physics, means which is not accordance with nature. Incorporating both views in his works, Whitman is among the most influential poets in the American canon. Means he is one of the famous poets in American literature, often called the father of free verse. So we also know him as the father of free verse because he started this tradition. Leaves of Grass, Song of Myself, O Captain, My Captain are some of his famous works. Means he has written these works. Okay, it means his contribution is instrumental in American literature. He won the Gold Kite Award for picture book illustration. Means he was awarded for his endeavors. Then we have introduction to the poem. Animals is a poem where the poet admires the animals for being calm, composed, and self-satisfied, and contrasts their qualities with those of human beings. It means the poet compares animals and human beings. Clear? He finds the animals to be free from all greed, ego, and servility, as well as more human than human beings. He likes animals. Why? Because animals are free from greed, ego, okay, sense of domination. But on the other hand, human beings suffer from these shortcomings. He would prefer to shun the world of human beings and live with animals. So, poet wants to abandon the human world and wants to be a part of animal world. Theme. The poet brings out the contrast between men and animals. Means he tells us the difference between animals and human beings in the good old days when possessed good qualities which they shed with passage of time. Means the poet says the good qualities which were a part of human beings a very long time back, now they are no longer a part of human beings. The animals still retain the virtues that have been lost by human beings. Means human beings have lost all the good qualities, virtues with the passage of time as the civilization progressed. Thus, one would feel more at home with animals rather than with human beings. So, one is more comfortable with animals rather than with human beings. Animals lead a life free from greed, jealousy, ego, and discontentment. Means animals don't have these shortcomings like greed, jealousy, ego, okay, self dissatisfaction, okay, while on the other hand their world is marked by peace, equality, and contentment. Means these are the dominating qualities. What are those? Peace, equality, and contentment. These are part and parcel of animal world. Message. The poem seems to suggest that human beings have shed their noble virtues and values and turned into uncivilized beasts. Means the human beings, they have shunned these good qualities, and of course they have turned into civilized beasts, although they don't look like beasts but they behave like beast animals, whereas animals seem to exhibit qualities that behove human beings. On the other hand, animals have adopted the good qualities abandoned by human beings. Human beings, if this is true, it is better to live like animals than human beings, whose society is marred by hypocrisy, greed, ego, hatred, discrimination, and materialism. So the poet says, if this is true, that it would be better to live the human society which is destroyed by hypocrisy, means pretense, greed, ego, hatred, discrimination, and materialism. The poet seems to give the message that human beings must try to rediscover and imbibe the virtues which they have lost in the process of civilization. Actually, the poet wants to emphasize that human beings should rediscover themselves and inculcate these qualities which they had lost a long time back. They should inculcate these qualities again. They ought to return to a state of innocence and learn to stay calm and contented with sense of responsibility. They should imbibe the qualities like innocence, okay, calmness, self-satisfaction, okay, and responsibility. They must also learn to stay away from mania of owning things. Means human beings, they should not be crazy for accumulating the worldly possessions. Okay. Then we have summary. The poet is such a staunch admirer of animals that he can go on observing them for hours together. Means the poet is a die-hard fan of animals to us to such an extent that he can observe animals for longer hours. He finds them to be so calm and composed, and he longs to turn into an animal in order to live in their midst. Means the poet wants the poet desires to be a part of animal world. Okay, why? Because they are calm, they are composed, okay, they are self-contained, they are self-satisfied. He admires the animal sense of self-contentment, for they have no grudges and are never heard complaining about their circumstances. So another reason the poet explains that he wants to be with animals because they are self-satisfied, they have no complaints, okay, they are just happy with what they have got, okay, they are just happy with their circumstances. They have a clear conscience and they suffer no sense of guilt, for the concept of what is right and what is wrong does not exist in their world. Okay, animals are free from any guilt. Okay, their heart is clear. So that is the reason the concepts like wrong, right, they don't exist in their world. Having no hypocrisy, they don't discuss their duty to God. Okay, animals don't need to discuss their duties towards God because they are already innocent, and because of their innocence, they just don't have to explain their duties towards God. They neither have any trace of discontentment nor do they have any craze for amassing material possessions. Means animals are free from such shortcomings like accumulating worldly possessions. Then we have the animal world is so full of equality and so free from superstition and dogma that none of them kneels to the other. It means animals don't bow to another animals. No one is considered to be superior to the others, nor is anyone happy due to social oppression. Means all animals are happy. Okay, they don't face such kind of oppressions. Okay, such kind of cruelty in their world. For such an oppression simply does not exist as it does in the human society, because cruelty does not exist in animal world like it exists in human world. Animals maintain and enjoy relationships of mutual respect and equality, which is something that the poet greatly admires. Means the poet really praises the sense of equality that prevails in the animal world. Animals possess some noble traits that once belonged to human beings. Okay, the qualities the poet is talking about, these qualities, they once belonged to the human beings. Now these qualities are transferred to animals, and now they are the owner of these qualities. They represent these qualities. The poet wonders whether animals have picked up those qualities that have been negligently shared by men over the passage of time. So the poet really speculates, or he introspects the poet introspects that these qualities once shunned by the human beings, and the same qualities are adopted by animals. Okay, that's why he's wondering, he's thinking about it. Difficult word. Placid means calm, composed. Mania, craze, madness for something. Kneel, to bow before others, to fall on knees. Token means mark, signs. Okay. Evince, to express, show, reveal. Whine, a complaint uttered in a plaintive way, means when you make a complaint while crying. Okay. Sweat, it means restless and panic. When you are distressed, that is sweat. Demented, it means to go crazy. Means when you are crazy about something, it means that you are crazy about something. Now, let's move forward. Let's start with explanation. Animals. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. The poet simply explains his reasons to be with animals. Why? Because animals are calm, they are composed. That's why he wants to turn away from human world and he wants to turn towards the animal world. I stand and look at them long and long. Means the poet is so much fascinated by the animals that he can stand for hours and he can observe the animals for longer period of time, and at the same time he desires to be one of them. Means long and long. One long means he can observe animals for a longer period of time, and another long means that he wants to be one of them. Clear? So we can see that in this stanza the poet expresses his desire to turn away from human beings and live with animals because he feels that animals are calm, quiet and contented or composed, means self-satisfied. The poet indirectly comments on the restlessness, greed and dissatisfaction among human beings. Actually, because we know that we are the readers, we can read this poem, and the animals, they cannot read this poem. So ultimately this comment is for human beings. Got my point? He is so much impressed by the natural qualities of animals that he prefers to live among animals. He gazes, that is the reason, that is why he gazes at the animals for a very long period of time and he desires to be with them. Got my point? I hope you understand. Now, they do not sweat and whine. Means do not sweat and whine means they don't get distressed and they don't complain about their condition, means about their circumstances they never complained. Means we are talking about animals. Okay, just keep in mind at the same time you should think about the human beings. While I explain you each line, you should think about the human beings, what human beings do. They do just the opposite. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. Okay, means animals, they don't have to wake all the night and repent for their sins because they are free from sins. They don't commit any crime, they don't commit any sin, so they get a peaceful sleep. Clear? Now think about human beings. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Means they don't bother. Means animals don't bother poet by discussing their duties towards God. But on the other hand, human beings, they keep on talking about their duties towards God. They are hypocrite. Okay. On the one hand, they commit crime, they commit sins, but on the other hand, at the same time, they discuss their duties toward God. Not one is dissatisfied, means all the animals are satisfied with their lot. Not one is demented. Demented means crazy, go mad with the mania of owning things. Means animals are satisfied and animals are not crazy to accumulate luxurious things. Clear? But what is the case of human beings? You know very well. Okay, so it means that the poet appreciates animals, okay, in contrast with human beings, because the animals, according to Whitman, they are satisfied about their lot and they never ever complain and they never ever crave for anything. Okay, they are just satisfied whatever they get. As they are innocent, they do not have to spend sleepless nights because they don't commit crimes or sins. Therefore, they do not have to repent their actions, right? Because animals have clear conscience, means their heart is clear. They do not have to repent for their sins. They don't have to beg for forgiveness from God. All the animals contain and do not hanker after the worldly things. Means animals, they are not crazy, they just don't run after the materialistic things of this world. And it means, in a nutshell, we can say that the stanza is a comment on the materialistic race among the human beings, okay, who are mad to accumulate more and more. Now, no one kneels to another. It means no one bows to another animal. Not to his kind means a dog does not bow to a dog. Lived thousands of years means their ancestors who lived thousands of years ago. But on the other hand, we know that human beings bow to another human beings. And human beings, what do? They worship their ancestors, okay, in the form of images, idols. Not one is respectable or unhappy, okay, means animals, they don't claim respect from others. Unhappy means they are happy over the whole earth, means on this planet earth animals are the most happy creatures, so they show their relations to me and I accept them. Okay, so poet feels that I feel a kind of belongingness, a sense of belongingness with animals, okay, and I accept that relation which they show to me, okay, they bring me token of myself. So what does it mean? They bring me the token. Token here means the good qualities: innocence, brotherhood, selflessness, kindness, okay. They evince means they reveal, they present, they show them plainly in their possessions. Possession means animals are the owner of these good qualities and animals represent these good qualities, okay. So that's why the poet says that they bring me these qualities, right? So, what do we mean by this paragraph? The poet wants to go and live with the animals. Why? Because they enjoy equality. Nobody has to bend before others. One thing, animals don't bow before any saints or their ancestors who lived a long time back in the past. We know very well. All the animals have such a sense of equality that none claims respect from others and none is burdened with sorrow. Okay, so it means the poet appreciates the relations of animals and believes that once the qualities found in animals were human qualities, and human beings have given up these virtues, these qualities, but animals have preserved them, or they have picked them up, they have adopted them. Clear? Now, I wonder where they get those tokens. Now, the poet reflects, the poet introspects that I just fail to think how animals got these qualities. Where did they get it from? Did I pass that way huge times ago? Now the poet is thinking, is it possible that I might cross that way a very long time back and negligently dropped them, and while I crossed that way I dropped all those qualities and the same qualities were picked up by those animals. Was it possible? Could it be possible? So this is how the poet wants to reflect. So like we can say I stands for not only the poet or the narrator, okay? It doesn't stand for only the narrator or for anyone. It stands for the humanity, means all for all human beings. Okay, because the poet believes in the good old times human beings had the virtues of modesty, contentment, innocence, and selflessness. So these are the qualities. They were the honor, means human beings were the honor of these qualities. Okay, but now what they did, they have lost completely with the passage of time. We know it very well, right? Now these qualities are to be found among animals. Okay, we can see. The poet remarks that animals have picked up these virtue states which were adopted by the human beings, and again these virtues were picked up by by animals. The poet implies, mean the poet means to say that the animals have acquired all the admirable traits, admirable qualities, okay, of the human beings, while the human beings, they have abandoned, they have dropped down these qualities completely. Okay, I hope you understand. Now let's discuss literary device. Rhyme scheme. So there is no rhyme scheme. We know it. Okay. So the poem is written in free verse. Alliteration. What is alliteration? The repetition of consonant sounds. I stand and look at them long and long. L, long and long. Look. L sound is repeated. I want to wear, wonder, w. So w sound is being repeated. They get those tokens. They, the sound get those th. So the sound is being repeated. So that is called alliteration. Repetition. I stand and look at them long and long. So long and long is being repeated. This word is being repeated. Metaphor. So what is metaphor? So it is used to make a comparison between two things that aren't alike but do have something in common. Means it is used for comparison between two different objects, okay, which have something in common. For example, they bring me tokens of myself. So what does it mean? Here the word tokens has been used metaphorically for human qualities of innocence, honesty, and contentment. So tokens here means the human qualities, okay, but the comparison is indirect without the word of comparison. But here it is not clearly mentioned that these tokens have been used for human beings. When we read the poem, we understand it. Sweat and wine. So sweat and wine we know very well. To complain, okay, to get distressed, to be sad, okay, these are the shortcomings. These are the qualities. These are the attributes of human beings, is metaphorically for the human beings because they get distressed and complain about their circumstances. We know very well human beings, they complain about their circumstances and not animals. Anaphora. What is anaphora? Repetition of phrase, clause, sentence in the beginning of lines. Okay, in the beginning of lines, be very careful about it. They do not, they do not, they do not. So anaphora we call it. Okay, so repetition, clear, in the beginning of line. Okay, not one, not one, again it's an anaphoric expression. Pun. Pun means I stand and look at them long and long, means one word has more than one or two meanings. Okay, so one word has more meanings. For example, long here means, so long here means two meanings the poet wants to convey. Okay, so first meaning is long, it means for longer hours. He wants to observe animals for longer period of time. One thing is that another meaning of long is he desires, he wants to be one of them. Clear? So that is called pun. Textual questions. Notice the use of the word turn in the first line. I think I could turn and live with animals. What is the poet turning from? So what is a poet turning from? What does it mean? The poet wants to turn away from something. So what is that? So the poet is turning away from the human world that is marked by materialism to the animal world. So the poet wants to turn away from the human world and wants to be a part of the animal world. Why? Because the human world is destroyed by materialism. Okay, in fact, he is turning away from the world of falsehood, hypocrisy, and greed. So, falsehood, hypocrisy, greed, they belong to the human world, to the world of truth, honesty, and selflessness. These good qualities, truth, honesty, selflessness, these qualities belong to the animal world. And contentment. According to the poet, the qualities once considered to be human are no longer found in human beings. Okay, the qualities which were considered good for human beings, now they are no longer a part of human beings. They have been acquired by animals. And what happened? These qualities are acquired by animals. Animals have adopted these qualities. Therefore, he turns to the animal's world and wants to live in their company. That is the reason poet wants to what? The poet wants to turn away from the human world and wants to be attracted or wants to be a part of the animal world. Mention three things that human beings do and animals don't. So three things we need to mention. You know very well, and I will really appreciate if you write your own answers. Okay, this is just for idea. Human beings bow to their ancestors, but among the animals, our sense of equality prevails. Means animals do not bow to other animals. On the other hand, human beings bow to other human beings. Human beings shed tears of remorse for their sins, but animals are without any feelings of guilt and they are self-satisfied. Means a human being has to repent for their bad deeds. On the other hand, animals, they don't commit any bad deeds. That's why they don't have to repent. Human beings run madly after materialistic possessions, which animals do not do. Of course, we know very well human beings, they are crazy. They are crazy for materialistic things. But on the other hand, they just give it a damn. Animals, they just don't like it. They just don't want to be indulge in it. Also, humans keep grumbling about their condition, but animals do not. Okay, we know very well human beings often complain about their circumstances, but animals, they don't do so. Do humans kneel to another humans who lived thousands of years ago? Support your answer. Yes, human beings do kneel to their ancestors. They raise them to the level saints and worship their images. We know very well about the human beings, but such practice is not prevailing in animals. What are the tokens that the poet says that he may have dropped long ago and which the animals have kept for them? So what does it means? Means what the poet says that what he lost, but the poet lost over a period of time, and what animals gained over a period of time. Contentment, peace of mind, innocence, clear-heartedness, honesty, loyalty, and brotherhood are some of the virtues that have disappeared from among human beings. So these are the qualities are abandoned by the human beings, but animals have acquired and retained them. Okay, animals, they did not only acquired these qualities, but they retained these qualities for a longer period of time. Then we have given up basic aspects of our nature as human beings, but animals have developed these virtues. Means we have lost our fundamental nature to be kind, but on the other hand, animals, they have retained, in fact they have developed these qualities, these virtues. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you understand. Like, share and subscribe. Take care. Have a good day.